Hello, I'm Steve Olson, the Manager of Training Services for Mesa. This is the last video in my series where I'm talking about generative design for 3-axis milling. The last thing I wanted to show was how to now get our generative design arm back over to Inventor. Since we started in Inventor, we should get back to that point and place this component in that assembly. Even though it doesn't have anything to do with the milling that we were focusing on, this is part of the process. So how would I get back to that point? Well, underneath my file menu, I do have the export option. And one of the things that I can do is I can push this back to an Inventor IPT file, and I'll just go ahead and select that, and I can tell it where to save that on my local machine. I can see that LCD mount. I'll just let it give it this name. I'll hit export. That might take a few moments to create, so I'll let it sit here for a few moments, and whenever it's ready, we'll open it up and we'll take a look at it. So after a few minutes here, you can see that it is completed that process of making that IPT, and I can even hit this show in folder, and it would show me where that thing is saved on my local C drive. So I'm going to close that window. I'm going to jump over to Inventor. So here I am back in Inventor. And just to kind of maybe see this assembly with both versions, not that I would do this normally, I could actually create a model state where I can see both of those. So right now here in my master model state, you can see that I do have that one there. I'm going to create a new one. And maybe I'll name this one Gen Design Arm. So in this version of the assembly, I'm going to suppress that arm. And that was just a message about the bill of materials for this generative design or this model state. Now I can go to place. I can go to my LCD mount. There's this LCD arm 2 version 3. I can say open, and there we go. So now I can constrain this. I'm just going to constrain this with an insert, that edge to this edge, apply that, this edge to this edge. There we go. So now I have that model state nice and ready. If I go back to this one, I do probably want, yep, this one is suppressed in that version, which is exactly what I want. In this case, that one's suppressed and this one's on. If we wanted to take a look at both of these things side by side, I can actually open this one. And then also open number 5 here. And I can tell it to vertically tile. I don't need that arm, so we'll actually get rid of that one. So now we can have these two side by side. So if I look at the one we use generative design to create, look at its physical properties, you can see that we're at just under a half a pound. If I look at the original one, that's over 3 pounds. So we had a significant weight savings compared via the two there. So you can see this is a really great workflow. It's really good for lightweighting components. You could see the main thing I was trying to show in the earlier videos, hopefully that you picked up on, is that it is not as difficult to create the 3-axis milling toolpath as it might have looked initially. First time I saw a part like this, I was like, man, how in the world would I mill this? As I've grown, I'm like, you know what? Realistically, to get those shapes in the middle there, it's just a matter of using the right ball mill and doing like parallels, scallops, and spiral morphs to get the right shape and kind of clean up the material as best as I can. So hopefully that you've grown to appreciate and you can leverage this in your own workflows very soon. Well, that's all for now. Hopefully you found this information helpful and something you can apply in the near future. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me at my email address there on the screen. And as always, thanks for watching.